with something that Diddy and his lawyers knew was coming down the pike eventually, and now it has happened. A new indictment, it's called a superseding indictment. It really replaces the original one that the federal prosecutors have filed against him. And the big headline here is that now they are saying there are two more.
Sean Diddy Combs, a prominent music mogul and founder of Bad Boy Records, is currently facing a high-profile federal trial in New York City. Arrested on September 16, 2024, he is charged with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. These charges stem from allegations that Combs operated a criminal enterprise through his business empire, involving a network of associates to facilitate crimes spanning years. He has pleaded not guilty and is being held without bail at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, a facility known for its harsh conditions. The case has drawn widespread attention due to Combs' status as a cultural icon and the gravity of the accusations, which include manipulating and exploiting individuals under the guise of his music and entertainment ventures. The trial is exposing not only Combs' personal conduct but also broader issues within the entertainment industry, with implications for his legacy and the accountability of powerful figures. On January 30th, 2025, Combs was briefly transported from the Metropolitan Detention Center to an undisclosed hospital in New York for an MRI. According to reports from sources like Page 6, this was a routine medical procedure, though specifics about his health condition were not disclosed due to privacy regulations. He was returned to custody later that night, and no further medical emergencies have been reported. The incident garnered attention because it occurred amidst intense public and media scrutiny of Combs' well-being while detained. His legal team has not commented extensively on the visit, but it underscores the physical and mental toll of his incarceration as he awaits trial. The Metropolitan Detention Center has faced criticism for its conditions, including overcrowding and limited medical care, which may amplify concerns about Combs' health during this period. As of June 5, 2025, Combs' trial is in its fourth week at the Manhattan Federal Courthouse, presided over by Judge Arun Subramanian. The trial is projected to last approximately 8 weeks, potentially concluding by early July 2025. Prosecutors have presented a robust case, relying on witness testimonies, video evidence, and documentation to build their argument that Combs led a criminal enterprise. The defense, meanwhile, is actively challenging the admissibility of evidence and the credibility of witnesses. The court proceedings have been marked by dramatic moments, including emotional testimonies and heated legal arguments over evidence handling. The trial's outcome could hinge on whether the prosecution can prove a consistent pattern of criminal behavior as required for the racketeering charge. Media outlets like NBC News, The New York Times, and Court TV are providing detailed coverage with daily updates on witness testimonies and legal developments. The federal indictment against Combs alleges he operated a criminal enterprise through his businesses, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and related entities. The core charges include racketeering conspiracy. Prosecutors claim Combs led the Combs Enterprise, a network of associates who facilitated crimes like sex trafficking, kidnapping, arson, robbery, and obstruction of justice. The racketeering charge requires proving a pattern of illegal activity over time. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Combs is accused of orchestrating events called freak-offs, where victims were allegedly coerced into sexual acts, often under the influence of drugs like ketamine and Molly. Transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges Combs and his associates arranged for individuals to travel across state lines for illegal sexual activities. The prosecution paints a picture of a calculated operation where Combs used his wealth, influence, and industry connections to exploit vulnerable individuals, silence victims, and evade accountability for decades. Cassandra Cassie Ventura, a singer and Combs' former girlfriend, has been a central figure in the trial. She testified for 4 days, detailing a decade-long relationship, 2007-2018, marked by physical abuse, emotional manipulation, and coercion. Ventura alleged that Combs forced her to participate in freak-offs, drug-fueled sexual events involving multiple participants, which he allegedly recorded and controlled. She described instances of violence, including an assault captured on a 2016 hotel surveillance video, which has become a cornerstone of the prosecution's case. Ventura's testimony, reported by outlets like the New York Times, was emotional and detailed, painting Combs as a controlling figure who used his power to intimidate her into compliance. Her 2023 civil lawsuit against Combs, settled out of court, initially brought these allegations to public attention, prompting further investigations. The prosecution has presented several pieces of damning evidence, most notably a 2016 hotel surveillance video showing Combs assaulting Ventura in a Los Angeles hotel hallway. The video, obtained by CNN and admitted in court despite defense objections, shows Combs chasing Ventura, throwing her to the ground and kicking her. Prosecutors argue it demonstrates a pattern of violence central to the racketeering and trafficking charges. Other evidence includes text messages and emails, communications allegedly showing Combs' coordination of freak-offs and attempts to silence victims, witness corroboration, testimonies from former employees and associates detailing Combs' instructions to procure drugs and arrange events. Physical evidence. Items seized from Combs' properties including drugs and materials allegedly used in the freak-offs. The defense has sought access to electronic copies of this evidence, arguing it's essential for preparing their case, but Judge Subramanian has denied this request without prejudice, allowing the issue to be revisited. Beyond Ventura, several witnesses have bolstered the prosecution's case. Capricorn Clark, a former Bad Boy Entertainment employee, Clark testified about a 2011 incident where Combs allegedly broke into rapper Kid Cudi's home with a gun, motivated by Cudi's relationship with Ventura. Hotel security guard. A guard from the 2016 Los Angeles hotel incident corroborated Ventura's account, describing Combs' aggressive behavior and the aftermath of the assault. Former assistants and associates, individuals like Phil Pines, Combs' senior executive assistant from 2019-2021, provided testimony about procuring drugs, e.g. ketamine, Molly, and supplies for Combs' Wild King nights, described as similar to the alleged freak-offs. Pines shared audio recordings of Combs requesting substances like Cialis and Xanax, further supporting claims of drug-fueled events. Rapper Kid Cudi provided critical testimony about a 2011 incident tied to his brief romantic involvement with Ventura. He alleged that Combs, enraged by jealousy, broke into his Los Angeles home wielding a gun, threatening him. Cudi also testified about a subsequent incident where his car was firebombed, which he believes was orchestrated by Combs as retaliation. These events, detailed in court and reported by NBC News, support the prosecution's racketeering charge by demonstrating a pattern of violent and coercive behavior. Cudi's testimony adds credibility to Ventura's claims and highlights Combs' alleged willingness to use intimidation to maintain control. The freak-offs are a focal point of the prosecution's case, described as orchestrated, drug-fueled sexual events where Combs allegedly coerced participants, including women and celebrities, into sexual acts. According to the indictment, these events involved drugs, ketamine, Molly, and other substances were allegedly used to impair victims' consent. Manipulation and coercion. Combs is accused of using his influence, promises of career advancement, and threats to force participation. Recording. The events were allegedly recorded, with Combs retaining footage as leverage over participants. Testimonies from former employees like Phil Pines indicate these parties were frequent, involving younger women and a clear power dynamic. Prosecutors argue these events constitute sex trafficking due to the coercive nature and interstate coordination. Combs' legal team, led by attorneys Tenny Garagos and Mark Agnifilo, has mounted a vigorous defense, arguing that the alleged activities were consensual and part of Combs' private life, not a criminal enterprise. Key points include consensual relationships. The defense claims the freak-offs were consensual adult activities, not coerced or criminal. Lack of evidence. They argue the prosecution's evidence, like the 2016 video, shows isolated incidents of domestic violence, not a racketeering conspiracy or sex trafficking. Witness credibility. The defense has challenged the reliability of witnesses, suggesting some may have financial or personal motives. They've also contested the prosecution's handling of evidence, seeking electronic copies of videos to prepare their defense, though this request was denied by Judge Subramanian without prejudice. A civil lawsuit filed in 2024 by a Jane Doe alleges that in 2000, at age 13, she was raped by Combs and another celebrity at an after-party following the Video Music Awards in New York City. The plaintiff claimed she was lured to the event by a limousine driver, given a drug drink, and assaulted. An amended complaint later named Sean Jay-Z Carter as the second celebrity involved. The lawsuit, filed by Texas attorney Tony Buzbee, has drawn significant attention due to Jay-Z's prominence and his long-standing professional ties to Combs. Jay-Z has vehemently denied the allegations, calling the lawsuit a publicity stunt and accusing attorney Tony Buzbee of filing claims with substantial inaccuracies. In legal filings, Jay-Z's team requested sanctions against Buzbee for failing to properly investigate before naming him. The lawsuit was voluntarily dropped by Buzbee's firm in early 2025, citing unspecified reasons, though Jay-Z's legal team continues to push for accountability. This development, reported by outlets like Reuters, has not directly impacted Combs' federal trial, but has intensified scrutiny of his inner circle. Justin Bieber, now 31, has not been formally accused of any wrongdoing in Combs' criminal case. However, his early career ties to Combs, who was a mentor figure introduced through Usher, have come under scrutiny. Resurfaced videos from 2009, when Bieber was 15, show him spending significant time with Combs, prompting speculation about the nature of their relationship. No evidence suggests Bieber was a victim or participant in the alleged freak-offs, but public concern has grown due to his youth and vulnerability at the time. A 2009 video, widely circulated on platforms like TikTok and reported by outlets like E! News, shows Combs boasting about spending 48 hours with a 15-year-old Bieber, calling it a 15-year-old's dream. Combs references having custody of Bieber, drawing parallels to his legal guardianship of Usher during his early career. In the clip, Combs says, "We can't really disclose what we're doing, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream," while Bieber appears excited but deferential. Another clip shows Combs commenting on Bieber's appearance and scent, which many fans now find unsettling in light of the allegations. These videos have taken on a darker context since Combs' arrest. The resurfaced videos have sparked widespread concern among fans and online commentators, particularly on platforms like X, where users question why Bieber's parents and team allowed him to spend unsupervised time with Combs. Many describe Hollywood's treatment of young stars like Bieber as an initiation into a predatory environment, with Combs' alleged history with Usher, who faced similar claims of exploitation, fueling speculation. Posts on X highlight unease about the power dynamics and lack of oversight, with some calling it an open secret in the industry. However, no concrete evidence links Bieber to criminal activity in this case. Bieber has made subtle but significant moves to distance himself from figures tied to his early career. On January 4, 2025, fans noticed that Bieber and his longtime manager, Scooter Braun, unfollowed each other on social media, with Bieber blocking Braun and removing tags from Braun's posts. Similarly, Bieber unfollowed Usher, who introduced him to Combs and served as a mentor. Hailey Bieber, Justin's wife, also blocked Braun. These actions, reported by outlets like ET, suggest Bieber is severing ties with individuals linked to his past, possibly to focus on his family, wife Hailey and son Jack, and redefine his career amid the controversy. In a 2020 Apple Music interview with Zane Lowe, Bieber became visibly emotional while discussing his desire to protect young artists like Billie Eilish from the music industry's darker side. He said, "It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn. I want her to know she can count on me." The clip, resurfaced amid Combs' trial, has been interpreted as Bieber reflecting on his own experiences as a teenage star under the influence of powerful figures like Combs. His emotional plea underscores the trauma he may carry from his early years, though he has not directly addressed Combs' allegations. A separate civil lawsuit filed in New York in 2024 accuses Combs of drugging and assaulting an unnamed male aspiring rapper in 2015. The plaintiff, then 23, claims he was invited to an after-party after performing at a Los Angeles nightclub where Combs was present. He alleges he was given a drug drink and assaulted while unconscious. The lawsuit, part of a series of claims against Combs, seeks damages and alleges Combs promised a Bad Boy Records deal that never materialized. This case adds to the pattern of alleged predatory behavior described by prosecutors. Combs' legal team has dismissed the 2015 lawsuit as a publicity stunt, stating, "Mr. Combs cannot respond to every new publicity stunt, even in response to claims that are facially ridiculous." They argue that many civil lawsuits are opportunistic and lack credible evidence. In the criminal trial, the defense continues to challenge the prosecution prosecution's narrative, focusing on the consensual nature of Combs's relationships and questioning the motives of accusers. They've also expressed frustration with the prosecution's control over evidence, particularly their refusal to provide electronic copies of videos. The trial is a pivotal moment for the entertainment industry, exposing what many describe as Hollywood Babylon, a culture of unchecked power, exploitation, and secrecy. Combs' case threatens to dismantle his legacy as a music mogul and could implicate other industry figures as more details emerge. For Justin Bieber, it represents an opportunity to distance himself from a troubled past and advocate for younger artists, as seen in his comments about Billie Eilish. The trial's outcome may set a precedent for holding powerful figures accountable, while public discourse on platforms like X highlights growing demand for transparency and protection for young stars. As the case unfolds, it continues to reveal the darker underbelly of fame, power, and influence in the music world.